Now this is the one, it's a place you never want to go. But unfortunately, it's a place you have to be willing to go. If not, understand the consequences. What I mean by that is, let's say someone's got a knife and you've got into a position where you've managed to control the guy a little bit. I can't get to the knife, but I know if I let go of him, he's going to go. But I'm stuck in a position where I can't put him to sleep. Or if I let go of him, I'm fearful. Well, listen, I go to a different world now. I go to priorities. And what I mean by a priority is this. If I stick my finger in your eye, you have a priority to save that eye. If I stick my finger in your eye, you'll feel a little bit more compliant to listen to what's being said. So what we're going to cover in this bit is it's on a special occasion. 15 years I worked on the doors, and I'll go through numbers for you. I'll say I kicked thousands of people with my front kick, from either a toe bung to a, the techniques we'll show you in the other discs. So I've had thousands of them. Slaps, I've slapped hundreds. Punches and pure clean outs, bang, you're in 50s, 60s, and I mean clear outs. Putting people in points where, they're in comas. I count 3. And the problem with this is why I say you've got to be extremely responsible and know you're justified, is there's no worse feeling than going home at the end of the night and thinking, am I going to go to prison for this? The police are still on the case. So this is why I said I had to be very responsible with what I'd done. But there were occasions where if I didn't do what I did, we call it like the torture side of things. Well, I don't know if I'd still be here today doing this DVD, do I? So I'd say, am I proud of sticking my finger in someone's eye and taking it? Not really, but I had no choice. Because again, got them words in my head, you should have done it. Oh, you wish you would have done. So again, I can go through the scenarios, but they're just stories. You can either believe them or you don't. So one particular guy, it was when this hand got cut and it got open up. But I ended up with him and his thumb's in the eye, and my thumb was in his eye really I was pissed off with him, there's the truth, But I knew at that point, I should dig it out. I wanted to, but I didn't. Until his mate come round the corner with a metal bar. Now I knew at that point, if I let this guy go, and his mate's anything like his other friend, well, I'm in serious shit, deep shit. So I used the guy that I've got hold of to tell his mate to piss off. And how it works is, my saviour on that day was their relationship with each other. He didn't want his mate to die. He didn't want his mate to lose an eye. So, I kind of made sure these guys knew I was serious. So this is the unfortunate thing when you're in the shit. I hope no one's ever in the shit. But if you are, you have to do shit things. But you have to be committed to it, as committed to anything you've ever done. If I've got hold of your finger, I'm willing to snap that finger. There's no options about it. I don't have it for fun. Ideally, the first scenario works and you don't kick off and you comply and you leave and we all carry on with the days and nothing changes. But let's say you don't. Well, there's no point me grabbing that finger if I'm not willing to snap it. Otherwise, I'm just holding something that's useless. So, I've never done anything without me being fully committed and willing to do something. So this next part, it's the bit that'll probably match the title a little bit more. It's just fucking brutal. But I've been stabbed on a couple of occasions. I've had enough bottles on my head. In a brutal world, you've got to do brutal things sometimes. So this one is, how do I change the guy's mind from coming back and doing what he said he's going to do? How do I change the guy's mind from telling me he's going to kill me if I let go, when I let go, and you can feel it going? How do I manage to make him now not want to? So we'll have to cover them for you, won't we? Now we're only on 2 priorities. The eyes mean a lot to us, and so does the groin. You grab that, he's grabbing your wrist. I grab that, he's grabbing that. Stops them from punching, plus the talking places. So we're going to work through like a little face bar. This gives me options to play with the mouth, the eye, the groin, and then we'll go into a couple of the finger locks. And when you say brutal, it don't mean he's going to be lying in blood. It just means I'll snap that finger for you. I'll snap them all. If it means you can't use that hand and you can't attack me anymore. So I hope you don't enjoy this bit too much, but you take it on board, and if ever you're in the shit, unfortunately, it's the place you can go. But again, you justify it yourself, okay? I'm not responsible for when, where, or how. So let's have a look at this next bit. So let's give you a place to work from, give you a tool. That hand, it's not just a fist for punching, this thumb's quite important. This has got a nice little bit of pain attached to it to move things. Then we've got the face bar, going to work from there. It's a place where I've held people many times, which 99% of people will listen to what you're saying and comply. you can feel like you're going to snap that jaw and unhinge it for him. So this little bony bit, so we'll show you first of all why that gets used, how to get the face bar on, then use the face bar. He's allowed to do some tapping, but normally you'll hear that. So from that position of having him in a face bar, it's now gone wrong and the stakes have been upped. But you know, I've got to go on to the medieval side, I've got to go to the eye. And I'm not going to give you the reason scenarios, you make them up yourself. But let's have a look at this. Now, first of all, find the nose again. So let's say if I want to have him looking to the right, and I use the palm of my hand to stop his head. So he looks to the right from here, and do you know what? That's already a fight. You get someone with you get a rugby boy, you get that big guy with a big solid neck, he'll probably turn his hand into you. This little thumb's a great tool. You know, right where that cheekbone is, just drop it under. So all you got to do is find the cheekbone, drop it down, and we're living there. Now, I tested it first with, can he look to the right? And that's already putting muscle on me. Putting a little bit to effort. Look to the right. You might not have heard that, but I heard that, you know, it works. There's a noise attached to it. So this thumb will shift his face. And I just carry on the line and draw it into this face bar. And I bring him here. I like my shoulders resting on the top and here. We play a little bit of a 50-50 game. You could try this with anyone you've trained with. I promise you, if the face bar isn't getting the reaction you want, it's not the technique, it's you. The face bar works. I've had so much success with it, I wouldn't be telling you about it. And I've used it in millions of different scenarios. So you need to practice face bars. We'll show you how to get into them in positions, but it's just such a gorgeous technique for pain compliance. So, say we've run across here and we've come up and I've got him here. Well, I want to know a few things. Can he turn that way? He's not turning. That can be so much pain in. Can he turn into me? I'll feel that shoulder going. So he can turn one way, which is good for me. I know the only place he's possibly got is coming in. So if I feel that shoulder going, I'll grab that face. But now I'm kind of in a world where I've got to throw him away. And like I said, I've had the occasion where he's had a friend come in now. Now let's go from here what his options are. People will go, hold on a minute, you've got hold of his mouth. I know I have. And he can open his mouth and bite you. I hope he tries. Try this one. It's impossible to bite my finger if you've got to bite through your face first. So you can feed your fingers into people's mouths as long as you take their face with it. So what I mean by that is I have hold of him here from the face bar, his shoulders turning, and I step my hip in a little bit to kind of block it, and I pulled him in tight. Now he decides he's going to bite me. That finger folded in and shut that jaw on him. So this finger here, if you have a look, he will open his mouth, I feel it open the teeth, and I feed it straight in. Bang it. He has to go through two slits, the top part of his cheek and the bottom. So that can be classed as a little bit of torture because I can hold him here now, squeeze that nose, get your fucking hands off me. And again, if you notice the way I talk, very polite until it comes not to polite. Now, I need the guy to listen to me. And I got it wrong in the early days. I remember putting chokes on people, being that tensed up. I didn't give them a chance to stop fighting. They just went to sleep. Then as I went on, I realised these words mean so much to you. So I've got him in the face bar, I've pulled him in. He's still kicking off, and I really can't afford the guy to. So I've grabbed all the face and I'm leaning him back a bit, which controls the head. Well, where do I go? I don't want to bounce his head off the curb just yet, which is a simple option. You know, I don't want to stick it in. We'll go through opposite. He opens his mouth, stick that, squash the nose, put it in. Now he'll try and grab my hand. I'll squeeze it. Get your fucking hands off me now. And when he does, release the grip. If I don't release it when I say, get your fucking hands off me now, if I don't release it, where's the encouragement for him not to do it again? So I've been here when he's getting it off, and I go, get off me, get off, and I'm pushing just as hard, so I understand why the guy fought. I understand fully why he carried on fighting. So I have it, get your hands off it, and as soon as it comes off, I release it. But it never releases to the point I let it go. Now I have pain compliance as someone I can talk to. What is your problem, mate? But again, we're in an environment where you go, why are you swearing so much? It's a fight. People use these words. So if I said, look, please, my friend, stop fighting. Well, this guy's not that person that listens to them words. So I could have here, I've got it fed in, I've got it here. See that here? I want him to hear what I'm saying. And when I clamped onto it, I'll talk to him. Do you fucking want me? And you know, from experience, there's nothing worse than having a voice in your ear that seems like it's got the devil in it. That's got that, oh, fucking leave me alone. So I never want to be that person, but I understand I have to be sometimes if I meet that kind of person. So train this and just practice it slowly. This isn't going through a full scenario, it's just, can I turn his head, drive it down, have a look at this bone here, it fits like a glove, it's almost as if it's made for it. Bring him down to a nice level, wait for him to turn, grab his shoulder and just take a step in this side. Obviously I have to watch that hand, so I keep this a little bit high in case he's shooting. He goes to bite, feed it in, smash it, and keep my elbow up so I'm still covered here. Squash the nose, feed them out, grab onto that ear, get your fucking hands off me now, get them off. Now you can calm. Now what's your problem? Now listen, and I can move him back into this, take him out. I'm going to let go of you, mate, you better piss off. Do you understand me? Are you going to let go? When I let go, you're going to chill out. And I can tell by the tension. And you know, when I take him, I'll turn him this way. I go, right, listen, piss off and move. Now there's where I say torture comes in. It's painful. It's just bloody painful. So on the techniques that you have, pain wins every day. Best motivators in life, pain and pleasure. It hurts, so I'm not doing it. And when he lets go, I get the pleasure of walking away. So guys, test that one. Mouth. I'll show you one more little scenario for a mouth, because you can get into it from many different ways. The thumb at the front. If I grab him here and he opens it, I feed the thumb right in. Feed it. Now let's see if he can bite me. If I come over here and I feed it in, I can grab it with two hands. I've walked many people out from there. If they try and bite me, well, fucking bite me then. Can you bite? And I can squeeze, drag here, bang, and that jaws in. Put your hands on me, just squeeze it. And your thumbs are obviously stuck up under here as well. So guys, that little grip, it has worked for me many times. Squeeze it here and try it. It's disgusting. So feeding mouths, feed their own mouth into the teeth. That's a bit of torture for you. The face bar is torture on itself, but sometimes you have to add a bit more. So you get this face bar working. Now how it works is, I bring it here and I bring it close. Now note the grip on my hands. If I use that for a grip, it offers the fleshy part. So if I go palm to palm, well, I ensure this bone's working. And bones work so much more than muscle. Then you test your grips. So Zach's a strong lad, strong shoulders. Puts his grips like this, and I see if I can just pull his hands apart. Now once them palms disappear, he's relying on just his fingers. Also from there I can just squeeze them fingers. You know, you're pretty much breaking them yourself. Put his palm here, and listen, I could get my foot into this corner here, and he's still lifting it. So that's a grip worth having. That strengthens it tenfold. You could also, you know, hide your thumb so they can't start peeling fingers, and you can start messing around. But that, guys, is a technique worth having. A place you can get pure pain compliance on him. So let me say torture, guys. Have I stuck my fingers in someone's mouth? Yes, I have. Did I do it when he did nothing? No, he went to bite me. What happened then? We have different scenarios. Some have just gone, I'm all right, please leave me alone, my fault, in them kind of words, and done. Some have carried on fighting. So I've obviously not hit it hard enough to go through my own finger. That little shot. And you'll see the teeth have to go through their own. Now that puts them on a little bit here, which would then put me into here, mouth open, turned in, stepped aside, smash it through, and listen, gives me an advantage, doesn't it? Puts him on a back foot, puts me on a front foot. There's one scenario. Face bars, into mouths, try it. We'll hit eyes next. So let's go on the next one. Priorities and torture. Again, I get this little smile about me when I think about it, because it just helped me so much. It's an option I never want to go to, but it's an option I'm more than willing to go for. It's the eyes. You know, you don't have any eyes, then you can't fight, you can't see me, you can't come looking for me. You know, when I come back, when I see you again, I'm gonna, well, if you've not got that eye, you're gonna struggle to see me, aren't you? So say that again, mate. You know, choose your words carefully. Is that what you said you're gonna do? And I've never really had anyone carry on through with it. Now for words, I'll never take an eye, but unfortunately I've been in situations where I've had no choice. So let's go through a rule of thumb, excuse the pun, of how eyes work. Now, to get to an eye is quite simple. Let's take it as gold dust. This guy's not going to want me to get there. So find the nose. If I'm here and I'm trying to get my hand up to his eye, and he's going to grab my wrist because he can feel going to the face, can I now get to his eye? So I'll have this game, and he's quite strong, and look, he knows what he's doing, he's training, his thumb's not in, he's got me in a tight grip. Can I get up to the eye? Can I bollocks? You know, can I bollocks? You've got to be extremely stronger than the guy in front of you to be able to go back up when he's holding you there. Now let's say if I go here and I start here on the face, well, he can't pull my hand off. It's a very strong grip. So he tries pushing my hand off. And what happened there is I got a couple of seconds, which is a theory you'll hear me saying quite a bit throughout your training. Any technique that buys you a couple of seconds in a real fight, like I was explained off my instructor, is worth its weight in gold. Take the technique and train it. Because trust me, in a ring you get 3 minutes, outside you might get 3 seconds. I've got a technique that buys me 2 seconds, my fight winner. That's the changer, that's the game changer. So how do we train this? Well, on the way the eyes work, low part. Try it. Put your finger in your own eye. Doesn't hurt too much. Go to the top of the eyeball and push in, and it's as if all the nerves exist on the top. It's oh so much painful. Triples the pain. So I don't ever want to get to here where I'm in the bottom part of the eye. I've had my finger that far in someone's eye, and they've still been fighting like there's no drama. Yes, I think he was on the drugs, obviously. But you know, these are the type of people we had to deal with. And the scenario happened where he'd already tried biting me, and he had his finger in my eye. So, you know, it was warranted at that time. But if I go higher up, the reactions are so much more. So what I do for a rule of an eye is, I go high. Then if he grabs hold of my wrist and drags it down, he drags me into the place I've always wanted to be, and that's when it'll get curved in. Now, for you ladies watching this DVD, you have an added bonus for us. You got fingernails, maybe. Now, you know, if I was in real trouble and it was kicking off, and I think, do you know what, we've got the bad boys and it's going off, I'd bite my nails. Just make them jagged. Maybe never needed them, but trust me, wipe anything past an eye, it just blinds you. You know, I've had my eye done myself, so this is where, from experience, I know the effects. I've got a very high pain threshold, but just that's something you can't control. It closes, it waters its eyes. Left me blind for a little while. So, you know, if you girls in, bite them. Then if anything happens and I do, just scratch it. You'll get a reaction, trust me. You don't need to hit the eye hard. So let's go through a few little times when I go for an eye. Double shoulder grabs, if he grabs hold, I always go high. And my hands, if you notice, are sprung out. I've got the luxury of having big hands. I can hit the chin and I can get to the top. But if I keep my finger like that, and I try and hit the eye, or I hit that, just open the fingers, make a claw. It gives me 4 options. Plus if I hit it there and he drags it down, I've only got to feel that. I can close my eyes, I feel the dip, and you're in. Now when I say eyes are priorities for me, they're a priority for him. When my survival's a priority. I have hold of him here, and I'll see, can he punch? He can punch, he can grab, he can hit. He wants it, he does it, it's no drama to him. If I have hold of him here, it's still a working place, you know, where we're fighting with each other. I slip that little baby up here and he grabs my wrist. And when he's grabbing my wrist, I know for a fact he's not punching me. So I bought myself a couple of seconds, haven't I? I bought myself a couple of seconds where he's turning around from here. Or he's grabbed hold of my wrist, which is where these kind of training came in handy for me. I trained from here with a wrist grab. And it'd come down and it'd come across and it'd hit and it'd stick in. And then you'd go to work with whatever thing you wanted to come after. And you know what? In 15 years working the doors, never did anybody, or did the scenario come from here. For a start, you're not grabbing my wrist. But then I think, well, hold on a minute. I've had my wrist grabbed many times, and every time it's been grabbed is from here. So what happens is I started marrying the techniques together. If I want him to grab my wrist, I grab his face. So if I was there and I go bang here, he's got my wrist. Now my locks can come in, now my heads can go in, and I've got a place to work. So I don't neglect the techniques that I did. I spent years doing martial arts, and what I spent doing was, I wanted to take every technique I ever had onto the streets, into an environment that people would want their martial arts to work, and test it. And listen, it went wrong. I've had my shoulders ripped out, like I say, I've had my sabs, I've had the cuts, I've had the bottle, I've had everything that's gone wrong. But I stuck with them. And I wanted my money's worth from my training. So this was a technique I loved for the fluency. And I could picture in my head where it'd work, but get me outside and it just never matched. So we just changed it slightly. You know, if he stood here and he's fighting and we end up here, and I go bang to that, he's got it. Boom, there's me underhook. I'd have to step around and come here, but I'd be back to the eye again. So you know, guys, if you understand the eye is a priority for someone, even if you go like that, you go like that, you swipe it, you wipe it, it will stop them punching you. It will turn them into survival mode. And when he's surviving, he's not attacking. So that was a little bit of gold that I needed. Now how we turned that into torture was this has to be very extreme. If he kneels down now, I don't need him to be standing up. But if he's kneeling down and I've got him here, well, all my fingers are close. I would keep that one on and this would be going in. That would be going in. Let's say he's got a friend with him. I've had the scenario where he's got a friend and I've had him here. And this guy's not been too bad. But his mate coming at me with a bar, you just know if I get up now, I can't clean him out quick from this position. But if I get up now, I'm fighting two of them. Because once he gets to it with me, he's going to join his friend. They have a connection. And I'm going to be the common enemy. So I'd use him to tell him to piss off. So if I had him in here like this, and I'd be going there, and he's not too much threat, go here, tell your mate to, listen, come any closer and I'll slap his eye, you know, and this one would tell your mate to fuck off. Tell him to fuck off now. And he'd be telling me, good. And then I'd drag him back to where he goes, but that was a game changer for me. I promise you it was a game changer. And if you notice, again, I'm at the top. Because once I touch that, I'll get a reaction quick. I've had my finger, look how far that goes in without him even blinking. That is a world of difference. So guys, when you're playing with eyes or anything, if he jumps up, understand, it buys you a couple of seconds. And I can get to the eyes from loads of places. If he's here, there's eyes, there's eyes. Now if he grabs onto me still, I'll exchange two hands for that. There's eyes, hips in. And your techniques can work from there. So don't neglect the eyes. And when I say it's torture, it's not a place I ever wanted to go. Because again, our lives change, don't they? He never sees the same. And I'm probably walking around with the rest of my life with somebody who's got an issue with me. And I know issues never go away, which is why my healthy paranoia stays with me all the time, okay? But again, if the guy ever does come back to me who I've played with the eyes, let's not forget who started this. I'm pretty sure I'd have been smiling, I'd have been polite, and you'd have been the one trying to take liberties, okay? So again, I was in the right, so tough, you have to live with it, not me. But guys, their eyes fire, great little tools, it's a priority. And if you don't believe me, test it. Now when you're training with this, you can't stick your finger in each other's eyes. But I go here, or I go here, or I go here, you know, and then see if you can get my hand off. So we don't blind each other every day. So guys, there's some eyes. Now in the other DVDs that we do, you'll notice we'll put the scenarios for you. And all you're doing is you're looking at when is the option for my finger to go there. Not just an option, but when does the scenario warrant me having to do that? Is it this kind of game, or is it this game? So guys, there's some eyes. One more thing for you which can change the game for you, okay? Let's have a look at that one. So we're on another priority for you. It's the groin, isn't it? You know, it's the family jewels. It's the thing where you say, how hard do you have to kick someone in the nuts to get them to say, ow? That'll get me off. You know, I've had an occasion, So I know that groin's a very vulnerable area. Now when I talk about vulnerable areas and priorities and torture and stuff, you'll have pressure points and things like that. Unfortunately, I'm one of them people pressure points don't work on. You're more than welcome to get in touch, come down and we'll test these things. They don't work on me. And I've also had some things that don't work on other people, you know, non-pain compliance. So this one's the groin area. What do I need to know about it? I don't need to know too much. He wants to keep them. Uncomfortable having them grabbed. And there's a certain saviour in your head that says we need to watch them. So a little tip that you've got, if I grab his nuts here and I'm pulling him up, well, he's going to be on his toes and he's going to be maybe grabbing them. There's a certain feel to grabbing and yanking them down. You know, just pulling them. Or from behind. But one thing I can ensure is I'll get a reaction out of him, whether it's small or it's big. So let's see where small reactions can work. If he grabs me in a rear choke, and we'll go over these bits, well, everything I need to hit is behind me. So, you know, again, unless he's built like a question mark, he's roughly here. That's a priority. So I want to get hold of this and secure it. But this hand, I can send it back into the ribs as much as I want. But, you know, I've met some guys that you can hit me as hard as you want in them ribs. And if he keeps his chest really close to me and his back close to me, I'm not going to get a big strike. But, you know, that... Bang! Now, even if I miss him on the first shot, and I use this bone, again, just to up my odds, instead of that, I'm not even going to go for a grab on the first one. It'd be useless for me. I'll just send it back and gauge what's there. And if I hit, and you'll know whether you've gone between a leg or not, 1, 2, whoosh, then I grab. I'm going to create enough of a gap for when his hands come across for me to turn and get my hips out. So if you look at the gaps I've got here, for me to get my hip out, I need the gap. Well, from here, if I sink my weight down, I grab on and I come back for that groin. There, I felt the gap. I can feel the gap being created. So I've used the groin for anything that's been a sneak attack from behind when I've not been pulled and I'm back. And we have that little bit of an opportunity to sink. But the groins, guys, you can never neglect them. From side headlocks, they've worked many times as distraction techniques. You can't, it's hard to finish this one because even if he lets go of you, you're looking very awkward. You stood there holding on to someone's nuts and nobody wants to look like that. So it's a distraction technique to get his hand off to break the grip. So let's say he gets into this little side headlock, and I love side headlocks, and I'm here and I'm trying to go. I can see. So if I come down here and grab and pull, he's going to grab hold of my hand. That's loosened the grip. You know, this one could put me in the eye, so I can tag both at the same time. So on the groin area, I don't think you need 15 years worth of training. You just need to know that bloody hurts. I mean, it hurts to the point of, I will do something. They hurt, that hurts. People go throats as a priority. But I've got quite a strong neck. You strike into it, fair dues. You'll get a reaction out of me. But you know, even if he squeezes my neck and he goes, someone go, I say, he squeezes his arms, squeeze it, and I'll throw it in. I don't give, you know, so necks, they're a priority when you've got opportunities for both. I don't rely on it. I've been there and I'll hold it, but I never rely on the neck. You get some people with great strength in them. I've never met anyone that denies the eye. I've never met anyone that denies the groin, full stop. I've never met anyone that when my finger's been in his mouth and has fed his mouth into it, he's wanted to bite me. I've never found the guy that's willing to bite his own face before he gets to my finger. And if he does, well, what would you do if I bit your finger off? Well, I'd have one less finger and I'd smash the shit out of you with this hand then. Or I'll pick my finger up and I'll stick that bit in your eye. In other words, I'm not stopping until it goes. So the pain compliance is very important, you know, building it up. And these little techniques of face bars, they help you. Now, if you watch the technique again, I bring it in, my hand's wrapped around, and then I kind of push my hand away, which offers the bone. But you know, practicing these things, it's quite comfortable, it's quite nice, but you get to up your pain threshold. So guys, on a priority, trust me, eyes work, the groins work, they just do. Feed it into his mouth, he's not biting you. Now where that translates into fighting is no matter how much scuffling we're doing and we're here, and he's getting the better of me and he's moving. If I was to move around here and get this, that eye, I've got to it. Listen, you can get chokes, why would you bother here? The nick's going in, that's, and I would hold on to that with all my life. But I would just have the idea, instead of going low, I go up high. So there's some eyes for you, okay? And some groins for you. There's one more we're going to put in with the torture, but it's not what I call a survival technique. It's when you've already gripped something and you have to be willing to do something with it, i.e. snap it. So we'll have a look at a couple of them. So we've got places you go to straight away, simple. Now we've got how do the techniques work, and you get this all the time. Well, is there anything they can do from there? You know, if you put that technique on, can they get something from there? Or not if I put it on. If I put it on, well, it snaps, hasn't it? Because every technique we have in the jiu-jitsu world, or I'd say in any of the little bits, they're designed to break and snap. So let's just go through some very simple ones, then others. And again, we worry when we hit the other DVD, how we got there, how the opportunity arose for me to end up in a position maybe here, how I end up in a position where I'm maybe here. Have I ended up here? Of course I have. Many times the opportunity's been given to me. Have I ended up here many times? Of course I have. You'll see on the other DVDs you do. Now what I mean by this is, can he get out of it? Well, if he feels like he can, he can. And he bloody will. So I realised years ago, as a doorman, me running in grabbing someone who's fighting, well, they don't know if I'm a doorman or I'm his mate or I'm his friend's mate who he's having a fight with, so he fights instantly. He's already fighting, he's in fight mode. I grip him, he's fighting. So I'd have to grip him hard and then explain who I am. Chill out, mate, chill out. Now, this is me announcing who I am and I'm not any danger to him. If he carries on fighting, well, the fight's ours now, isn't it? Now let's look at a technique, and I can take any technique, and we'll go for a finger. We did this earlier on, you know, you got to hold on, mate. And again, this is where I used fingers for years. And to the point where I'd go, I want a finger lock today. And the next person that comes up to the club that's got all the aggression levels, everything they want, well, I'm going to get the finger. Because how do you get the finger? Well, you know, there's a game to play with it. So let's say, for instance, he's got his hands in his pockets, and I want to finish this guy with a finger lock. Well, his hands are in his pocket, so how are you getting the hands out of his pocket? How do I... Now, remember the job I was in, I was a doorman. So behind me, there's a club he wanted to go into, which we've already decided he's failed the attitude test, and he ain't coming in regardless. Coming in's not an option. And I don't mean just for, I don't like him. That had no relevance on where I was working. I don't need to like you. I just need to know the rest of the people in my venue were safe. So we had a responsibility and a care of duty to make sure everyone in that venue enjoyed themselves. So if you were in there with your wife and you're sitting at the table, the last thing you want is the type of guy that's going to sit there, walk past and smack her ass for you. Well, that's a fight. Any man will stand up and do. If not, the man will go home, feel very bad, and him and his wife are arguing. So no, we had a responsibility. So I enjoyed having fun with people like this. Now when I see people like this, I'd go, "Hi mate, how are you doing? Unfortunately, we can't let you in with them trainers on." What are you fucking talking about, you dickhead? The trainers. Hey, listen, I need to hear nothing more. You're already not coming in. Now we just have a little bullshit conversation to have. But again, I'd go, well, I'm going to be gripping his finger. So again, he might want this to go, listen, what you're on about with shoes, you can't come in. I go, you can't, mate. Now, I don't want to argue with him. Now I'll just go, well, I'm just going to get your finger. So I'll change it, and it'll be as simple as, mate, you can't come in with your shoes. What are you on about, you dickhead? Oh, sorry, not your shoes. We can't let people in with tattoos on the hands, mate. You know, unfortunately, we don't do visible tattoos on hands. The arms are all right, and he'll go, obviously, I've not got any tattoos on my hands. I go, yeah, mate, I've seen you. You've got a little one on that middle finger there. And he'll go, no. I go, no, that finger there. Thank you. And, you know, he grabs there. So I could get his hand out of the pocket, and I had fun with it. And then it'd be gripped and it'd be here. But let's see if he can get out of it. That's the grab. And this is not the end product. So let's have a look where the end product is. And then we just start going, beginning, end. So that's the beginning, I've gripped it. The end product, slowly, is him kneeling down, this finger at him, and you can see, that's the end product. I go a little bit further. See that? Now do you want to move? He's stuck. There's no room for you to go. But if I give him this freedom, well, he's just, see when he moved? Well, he'll move. So he has all this shit to play around with. Here. So much. So we have to get to the beginning, and you have to know what your end product is. Pain. So unfortunately, at times, fingers did snap while I was grabbing it. That's not my problem. Shouldn't have been telling me you're going to do what you're doing and pointing it at me at the same time. Self-defense wise, I go, simple, my friend. He was pointing that weapon at me, Mr. Officer. And he gave me all the signs that he was going to attack me. The nicest and safest thing I thought I could do was just grab that finger. You know, I didn't punch him in his head, I didn't smash him, I didn't put him on the coal, he's not in a coma, he's just got a little bandage on his finger for a couple of weeks. So to me, it was quite fine. Now, with your techniques, this is where I say you put the pain on. We'll go into, I can use this one. Now, when you're training these techniques, don't listen to him. Sorry, don't listen, don't let him tap. And what I mean by that is, I don't care what my partners do in the club. So I put this on here, hurts a little bit, you can tap, and I go. And I'll live with that. But what I need is, I need a reaction. I need the reaction out of him. So what I train is this. There's a certain posture your body will go into when you're in pain. It just will. If I grab that finger, no matter whether he goes, it hurts, or he taps, he's talking shit. That shoulder's done nothing. When I drop there, that's working. So I look for the motions in the body. If I go into this little technique, and I've got to get him over there, I know he's not moving. Does he even look like he's in any pain at the moment? So if I start dragging him now, he's going to start pulling back against him. We're fighting. So the technique's useless. Probably better never even bothering putting it on. But you know, you crank it in, you do that, and I see them tiptoes come up. And then I get that little head. Well, he's mine now. And I can dig into it, and you can have, so you know, I have to see the body change. I get a face bar on him. Does he look like he's in pain? You'll see motions in faces. You'll hear the little clicks. So, you know, let us say we don't tap, we snap. It's for a pretty basic reason. I don't trust the taps. I think it's inbuilt when you grab all the stuff and say, get off. No. You started this, I'll decide when I get off. So, I mean, if I see your body twisting and it's moving, well, the technique's on and that's all I need to know. So listen, every single technique you've got works if you're willing to do this. Snap it, which is the end product. Even if I'm on this shoulder here and he starts fighting to get out of it, well, that's me just resisting him fighting, getting out of it. Listen, I was never here to fight with you. I was here to snap it. And I'm more than happy to do it. So while I'm over there, as soon as I thought, bang, but I've got to be willing to do it. I have to be willing to do it. So there it goes, guys. If you're going to put a technique on, be willing to finish the end product. But there are places within that where you can stop safely, talk to them, listen, we don't want to go here, mate. Let's just call it a day and go home, find another venue, you know. Or why don't you rethink things? You've had a stressful day. Your missus might be winding me up, but don't put your shit on me. So in other words, I can make you listen there, but aerial fight, aerial fight, aerial fight. So you put a technique on, put it on. So this is pretty much covering the torture side of things. And you call it torture for this reason. It's bloody horrible. Having that finger, you have to do it sometimes. So what's your scenario? I don't know. You see, some people in different countries watching this, we're in Britain. We don't have guns. You're in America, you have guns. You're in other countries, you walk around with swords. You know, so we don't have them luxuries, so I can't tell you what your scenario will be. All I can tell you is that's a priority for everybody. That's a priority for everybody, okay? So all you need to do is remember that. If you're putting a technique on, put it on. Now I'm looking forward to the DVD that's got all the techniques. But don't forget, guys, look for these little movements. It'll tell you whether it's on. Enjoy the next bit. So here's a tip. These are like little words that resonated in my head for a long time. Let's say, for instance, I'm not interested in any position you get. Let's say I've got this, and I've ended up here. Quick question for you. Whose arm's that? You go, it's his. It's fucking not. It's mine now. And I will hold it like it's mine. That's my arm. When I used to get into the face bars, just that little mental difference of whose face is that? That's my face now. So, you know, you put that kind of mentality into it, that's where it needs to be. When you grip something, it's yours. But never ever get to the stage where you think it can't get tucked back. We have to be willing to let things go. So if I've got this arm and I'm doing arm drags, that's my arm. But if I feel it going, I don't want it ripped from me. A technique that's ripped from me puts me on a back foot and a little bit of an hesitation. So once I feel it going, I'll let it go and move. So, you know, you've got to be willing to keep something like you'll never let it go. And you've got to be willing to get rid of it before it goes, you know. So this is why I say everything works. I put so much emphasis on this technique working, fully commit to it. But I have that 100% millisecond switch in my head that goes, whoa, it's working, let it go. And this is where we as martial artists and people who train recover quicker. So you put me against somebody who's never had a training session in their life, but he's just an hard bastard. Well, listen, it's still a fight. That'll be a hard fight for me. The difference is when we hit the floor, I'll be up quicker. I'll scramble quicker because I've been here before. So I'll be up and you'll still be scrambling and I get the advantage. So, you know, everything's an advantage for me outside. So these were little tips where I'd think, here's another word I hate. Self-defense puts this thing in where I'm defending myself. I'm not defending myself. I'm attacking you. So, you know, I'll go, we're stood here now and he's about to take a swing. Right, who's attacking who? Well, he's attacking. No, he's not. He's just going to start the game off. His posturing's just give me the button that says go. I'm attacking him. And, you know, them little mental switches in my head just made it so much easier for me to go, I understand what I'm doing now. I'm not defending myself. I'm coming through you. I'm attacking you for my own self-preservation. So if you can find a better word than self-defense, please find it. But I never use it in my club. Self-defense yourself. No. I'm going to attack you. I'm coming straight through you. But, you know, I'm trained and we do this for a living. So I think even when I got the best guys, and you go, shit, that was an hard fight. Whew, that was hard. How did you win that one? Just lucky. I trained a lot. I got up quicker. I recovered quicker. Anyone else would have been goosed on that place. But, you know, I don't lose my head. I train for fuck-ups. Otherwise, we wouldn't be fighting anyway if we wouldn't have fucked up already. So we just recover quicker. But don't forget them little tips. If I get hold of anything, whose finger's that? It's mine now. And I keep it like it's mine. And you get it back when I decide. Who's attacking who? I'm going to attack him. But I'm going to let him start the game. So guys, little tips for you, okay? Hold it like it's yours. Never give it back. Let it go if it has to go. And don't forget who's attacking who. Okay, so summarise this one. You're on torture. It's got that little medieval feel to it. But let's get to the raw basic bones of it. Shit happens sometimes and you got to do shit. Now what I mean by that is I'd have people training with me, mainly ladies and not the gents, for some reason built a little bit differently. All the gents would have this idea that they would do anything, and yeah, I'd take his eye out, I'd kill him. Which is where I'd used to go back to this whole saying, you know, everyone wants to be a lion, but you know what they do? They eat animals, they eat little things, they bite the heads off shit. So, you know, everyone wants to be one, but are you willing to do what they do? Are you willing to be sat there dripping in blood? Not a lot do. But then again, why do you want to be a lion? Be happy with what you are. You know, be happy with whatever you are. But if you are one, that's just the way it goes. Now, how this translates is pretty simple. I'd get some ladies training with me and they'd go, I could never stick my finger in someone's eye. I go, are you serious? They'll never. Well, what's the scenario, love? She'd go, like, I never picture anything. All right, well, picture this. You're in the house on your own and you've got your little one in bed in your cot. And you've heard a noise and you've gone up and you've seen a character over your baby's cot. And listen, love, you're a little defenceless woman in your house. You can't fight this size of the guy. And let's say you've managed the opportunity to get here and get your eyes. Are you telling me you wouldn't do that to save your child's life? Are you telling me, well, yeah, I would then. We'll put that scenario in your head when you're training it then. And now I hope that never, ever happens. But if it does, I'm not on a second thought process. It's just what has to happen. So on the torture side of things, you know, you call it torture. To me, it was just an added little bonus to stop the guy from doing what he wanted to do without me having to nail him. So if you think about it, it was me being very nice. I could at that point have snapped the head, put it down, stamp on it. But you know, instead I chose the pain and this to get the guy to understand nobody wins on this occasion. But technically I'll win, because when you lose an eye, you're on a back foot. And then I'll still keep coming through you if the threat's there. So to summarise this one, I'd say, how do you do your torture? Well, you have to be committed to it, very committed to it. What works? You can't deny this, you just can't. Try it. You just can't deny it. Pressure points, I can deny them. However, I use them. I use probably 2 or 3. The nose is great, ripping here. That's a little bit hit and miss. I'd say 90% of people might be a bit soft to that one. I'm not one of them. But I'm willing to try it all. Now, to summarise in a dead simple way, I don't want to be seen as the type of person that is violent. But I was in a violent environment, so I had to be violent. Talking didn't always work, but as you can tell, I like talking, and that was my first port of call. Then preemptiveness was the next port of call. Piss off, watch what you're doing. Then a little bit of preemptiveness is get the danger out of the way. That's my second port of call. This scenario here is where I've probably lost that control, I've lost them options, and I'm in the shit. So I've got no drama sticking my thumb in your eye. And you can go scenarios. I remember when I was younger, I used to work security in Bolton. It was in a Morrison store. And we got the guy and he was in there. And at this point, I wasn't thinking about it, but we got told on a training course, don't let people put their hands in the pockets. And I thought, why is that? Just so they don't look cooler than me when I'm stood here doing nothing. Well, you know, it was shit in the pockets. You don't want them to have it. And I remember getting this kid kicked off, good, violent, one of the best ones I'd had. Kicked trolleys into little kids, so he got an extra little bit of rust time. On the floor, and then he's going for his pockets. So I've just got hold of his wrist and he's moving it. But at that time, I didn't know he was going for his pockets. I had hold of his wrist, and I think I had him squashed with my head on the floor. And he kept going for it. And I was losing the hand, it's slipping. So I had to do what I could do. Left, the hand was gone. Bang, 2 good straight shots. He didn't want to carry on from that. Anyway, he's picked up, he's sat in the chair, and then the bobbies come. Empty pockets, and there's 4 needles wrapped up in an elastic band, and that's what he was going for. So at that point, I'm looking, I'm thinking, you dirty little bastard. Because them needles, you know, if he'd have got his hands in his pocket, even if he didn't kill me with them, I don't know what disease he's got, so he might not have killed me on that day, but he certainly could have had the option of doing it on others. So I have a priority, so I don't know what your scenarios are in your head. But to me, I'd never neglect the places you have to go if it goes terribly wrong. You can ask me quite simple questions. If someone calls you a dickhead, are you going to take his eye out? No, that'd make me a dickhead. He's right in what he's saying. If someone slaps you, would you take it? No, I wouldn't take his eye out. No, I wouldn't. Yeah, I would. If he did that, I would. And I don't mean ego-wise. I mean life-threatening-wise. You know, my priorities, my friends, the associates around me, my family, for them kind of reasons, yes, if you was threatening them. So there's your summary on torture. It's not what you wanted, 5,000 million techniques. Tough, you're not getting them because 5,000 million won't work. These basics work for you. But when you watch the other clips that we do, if technically everything's torture, everything's pain. When I punch you in the face, that's pain. When I get punched in the face, that's pain. When I snap the finger, it's pain, it's torture. So everything I do is pain compliance once the conversation's gone. So you will get the PC brigade that say, you should walk away. Well, obviously. But that would be a 30-second DVD box set, wouldn't it? Whatever happens, walk away. Sometimes you don't have the options to walk away. So this is specifically about you can't go anywhere. Corners are shut, back alleys are in, and you're in the shit. Okay? So you want to play with someone who's willing to kill you, willing to permanently disable you, and you want to play with punches. Well, I'd say on the odds that guy's won. So guys, have a little think about it. I hope the day never comes where you have to use it, but if you do, don't forget the priorities, guys, okay? Enjoy.